Martell Holt is once again at the center of attention, and just like always, the drama around him is hard to ignore. Every time his name comes up, it brings a wave of conversations, laughter, disbelief, and a whole lot of questions. It's almost like Martell doesn't know how to stay out of the spotlight. And honestly, at this point, many fans are convinced that he doesn't even want to. The man thrives off attention, good or bad, and this time, his next move has everyone talking. The talk in Huntsville is that Martell is planning something big again, but the most shocking part isn't just what he's doing, it's how much of it connects back to Melody Shari, the woman who once stood by him and unknowingly funded so much of the life he now flaunts. Let's go back to where it all started. Martell and Melody's relationship was once seen as one of the strongest on Love and Marriage, Huntsville. They were that power couple everyone talked about, smart, business-driven, attractive, and inspirational. Together, they built a brand, a home, and a reputation that put them at the top of Huntsville's elite circle. But behind the smiles and business meetings, there was something darker happening. Martell wasn't satisfied, and instead of communicating or seeking help, he made choices that would destroy everything they built. The affair with Ariane Curry wasn't just a secret fling, it was a pattern that stretched for years. And the truth is, while Melody was out working hard, closing deals, and expanding their business, Martell was using that same money to fund another life, a life that included trips, gifts, and the kind of attention he should have been giving his wife. Fans who have followed the journey know how painful it was to watch. Melody was doing everything right. She was focused, consistent, and determined to build a legacy. She used her intelligence and drive to make sure their family was secure, their kids had stability, and their names were respected. But behind her back, Martell was living double. He was playing house with Ariane, making her feel like she was special, and using the fruits of Melody's labor to do it. That's the real shock, how a man could take from the woman who built with him, just to spoil the woman who was breaking it all apart. And when the truth came out, Martell didn't just hurt his marriage, he destroyed the image people once had of him. It's wild to think about how far Martell has fallen. From being a husband and father that people admired to becoming one of the most controversial men in reality TV. His downfall wasn't just because of cheating, it was because of ego, pride, and greed. He wanted control. He wanted to look like the man in charge. But the truth is, without Melody, Martell's life started to crumble. He lost not just his wife but his foundation. The business struggled, the respect faded, and the fans turned against him. And while he tried to rebuild by jumping into new relationships, none of them brought him peace. Not with Ariane, not with Sherry Whitfield, and definitely not within himself now. The latest word going around is that Martell and Ariane might be planning to take things further. There are whispers that they've been seen checking out venues and talking about a possible wedding. It's all still alleged, but enough people have been talking about it for the rumor to gain real traction. If it's true, it raises one major question: why now? Martell has been divorced from Melody for 4 years. If Ariane was truly the love of his life, why wait this long? Why choose this moment to even pretend like marriage is on the table? Many fans think it's all about image. They believe Martell is doing this to clean up his reputation, to make it look like he's settled, and maybe even to secure another storyline for Love and Marriage, Huntsville. Because let's be honest, Martell knows how to play the game. He knows that drama keeps people watching, and if he walks down the aisle with Ariane, that show will explode in ratings. But let's not forget what really matters here: Melody's role in all of this. For years, she carried that marriage. She was the brains behind the brand. She was the one who had the builder's license. She managed the projects, the contracts, and the money. Melody wasn't just a wife, she was the backbone of everything Martell had. And yet, while she was grinding and making things happen, Martell was living off her success and using it to create a side life. There were reports that while they were still together, Martell was using joint finances to buy Ariane things, to travel, and to maintain a second relationship behind the scenes. It's one thing to cheat emotionally or physically, but it's another level of betrayal to use your family's money to fund your infidelity. That's what makes this whole situation so hard to forgive. Melody didn't just lose a husband, she lost the man she thought she could trust with her dreams. When you think about it, everything Martell did after the divorce connects back to Melody's foundation. Even now, years later, he's still trying to benefit from her name. Whether it's using her story to stay relevant or trying to make himself look like the misunderstood ex, it's always tied to her. It's almost like he can't move forward without mentioning her. And that's where fans started realizing that Martell may not have ever loved Ariane the way he claims. If he did, he would have moved on fully. He would have built something new with her. But instead, every time something goes wrong, he brings Melody up. He still tries to control her, still tries to argue with her, and still tries to find ways to stay connected to her life. That's not love, that's obsession and pride mixed together. Now let's talk about Ariane Curry, the woman at the center of this chaos. For years, she's been known as the side piece that wouldn't go away. She's gone live countless times, ranting about how people misunderstand her, how she was lied to, and how she was lied to, and how she feels like she's been treated unfairly. But what Ariane never seems to accept is that she played a role in destroying a marriage. She wasn't innocent. She knew Martell was married, and she still chose to stay. And not only did she stay, but she also tried to mock Melody online, calling her out and making herself look confident in a situation that was never hers to begin with. Now, if Martell is truly planning to marry her, some fans say it's not out of love, it's out of convenience. He's trying to prove a point, maybe to Melody, maybe to himself, or maybe to the viewers who've never taken him seriously since the divorce. But here's where things get deeper. If Martell really does marry Ariane, that decision will affect more than just the two of them. It'll change the entire dynamic of love and marriage, Huntsville. For years, producers have wanted Ariane to be part of the show. They've wanted her on camera to tell her side, but she always refused. Some say she didn't want to come on unless she could control the narrative. Others say Melody and the other cast members didn't want her there because her presence would have made things unbearable. Now, if she becomes Martell's wife, that changes everything. She can't be ignored anymore. She becomes part of the story officially, and that's exactly what Martell might be counting on. He knows that if he brings her into the mix, the drama and attention will explode again. And as usual, he'll be right in the center of it all. When you look at Martell's pattern, it's clear that peace isn't something he values. He says he wants love, family, and stability, but his actions always create chaos. Even when he was with Sherry Whitfield, things seemed more like a publicity stunt than a real relationship. Remember those staged paparazzi photos? Fans later found out that the pictures might have been arranged to create buzz for both of them. And once the attention died down, so did the relationship. That's Martell in a nutshell, always chasing the next headline, the next moment, the next bit of attention that keeps people talking. And as long as people are talking, he feels relevant. But what makes this even sadder is how different Melody's journey has been since the divorce. She didn't let the pain define her. Instead, she turned it into power. Melody focused on her businesses, her children, and her personal growth. She started winning awards, launching her music, and inspiring women everywhere who have gone through betrayal. While Martell was stuck in the same cycle of chaos, Melody was rising higher. She learned that peace is priceless, and she's been living proof that healing can lead to success. That's what makes the comparison between them so powerful. One chose to rebuild, while the other chose to recycle the same mistakes over and over again. Fans often say that Martell is living in karma, and they're not wrong. The things he did to Melody are now showing up in his own life. The failed relationships, the public embarrassment, the financial struggles, it's all part of the consequences. He wanted control, but now everything around him seems out of control. Even his image has changed. Once viewed as a charming businessman, he's now seen as a man who can't take accountability. And what's even worse is that he keeps trying to rewrite history, pretending like he wasn't the cause of the downfall. But fans remember. They saw the tears, the arguments, and the disrespect on national television. They saw how he talked to Melody, how he blamed her, and how he tried to play the victim when everything fell apart. It's important to point out that Martell's decisions didn't just hurt Melody, they hurt his own reputation with the other cast members. Kimmy Scott, Marceau Scott, and Letitia Scott have all had to deal with Martell's energy at one point or another. Every time he's around, tension seems to follow. Whether it's him throwing shade, trying to expose others, or making slick comments, Martell keeps the pot stirred. At one point, he even hinted that Marceau had his own secrets, which nearly tore the group apart. And guess who got dragged into that too? Ariane. She hinted online that she knew things about Marceau and Kimmy, adding fuel to the fire. That's how messy this situation has become. Even when she's not officially on the show, Ariane's presence lingers like a shadow over every storyline. Martell's biggest downfall is that he doesn't seem to learn from his mistakes. Instead of reflecting and growing, he doubles down. He posts online about loyalty, family, and love like he's the victim of betrayal when, in reality, he was the one doing the betraying. He talks about wanting to be a good father, yet continues to create instability around his children. He says he wants peace, but his actions show chaos. That's why fans find it hard to take him seriously anymore. They've seen the pattern, and they know that whatever Martell does next, it's going to come with drama attached. And speaking of what's next, this alleged wedding might be the biggest move yet. If it happens, it'll be a turning point for the show and for everyone involved. Some believe he's doing it to get Ariane finally recognized, while others think it's his way of proving he's moved on from Melody. But deep down, many believe that it's another business move. Martell knows that fans will watch, the media will cover it, and he'll be back in the spotlight once again. It's almost like he's addicted to the chaos because it keeps him relevant. Meanwhile, Melody continues to move in silence. She doesn't engage in the back and forth, she doesn't respond to every dig, and she doesn't need to prove anything. Her success speaks for itself. That's what makes her such a powerful figure, not just on the show, but in real life. She took the worst experience of her life and turned it into a platform. She showed women everywhere that you can walk away from disrespect, rebuild your life, and still win. That's something Martell will never take credit for, no matter how much he tries to tie his name to hers. Let's not forget how all of this started, with Melody's hard work. Without her, Martell wouldn't have had the same access, the same financial backing, or the same public respect. She was the builder in every sense of the word, building their home, their business, and their image. And while she was building, Martell was tearing it all down in private. That's the most painful part of it all. The very thing that helped him shine was the same thing he took advantage of. And now, years later, as Melody shines brighter than ever, Martell is left trying to create a version of success that doesn't quite hit the same. If this marriage to Ariane actually happens, it will be the ultimate test of whether Martell has truly changed or if he's just repeating history with a different woman. Because let's be honest, a wedding doesn't fix character. It doesn't heal broken trust. And it definitely doesn't erase the past. What's done is done, and the way he treated Melody will always follow him. The fans haven't forgotten, and neither has karma. At the end of the day, Martell's next move has people talking not because it's romantic, but because it's unbelievable. How can a man go from having everything, love, family, respect, and success, to losing it all and still not understand why? How can he look at the woman who built with him, helped him rise, and carried his name with pride, and still betray her so publicly? The answer lies in one word: ego. Martell's ego has always been his downfall. And no matter how many interviews, relationships, or public stunts he does, that won't change until he faces himself. As for Melody, she's already moved on in spirit. Her peace, her focus, and her success are all proof that walking away was the best decision she ever made. She didn't just survive Martell, she evolved beyond him. And while he's still trying to prove something to the world, she's too busy building hers. That's the difference between someone who's living in the past and someone who's walking into purpose. So, as fans wait to see what Martell does next, one thing is certain: whatever it is, it's going to come with drama. Whether it's the rumored wedding, a new storyline, or another attempt to stay in Melody's orbit, Martell will find a way to keep the spotlight on him. But what he doesn't realize is that the real glow-up isn't about attention. It's about peace, accountability, and growth, three things Melody has mastered and Martell still struggles to understand. And that's why this story still fascinates fans today. Because no matter how much time passes, it reminds everyone of one simple truth: when you build your life on someone else's grind and disrespect the foundation that made you, eventually, it all comes crashing down. And in Martell Holt's case, the crash has been loud, messy, and public for the world to see.